Hey Cancer, I'm Lucy Ravenstone and welcome to my channel. I'm doing Mercury retrograde readings this month, so I'm going to do part 1 right now and then we'll do the Mercury retrograde reading, so look out for those. I'm planning on doing a 3-card reading just to explain the energies that you will be working with during that time, which is the 10th of May to the 2nd of June, I believe. My dates could be wrong, so do check on that, but that's why I believe it was when I checked. So yeah, let's see what's in store for you for the month of May, guys. It's my birthday on the 3rd of May, so it's like the best month ever for me. I am a Taurus. But yeah, so we'll see what's in store for you guys. It is kind of a really transitional time this year, so it's like every month has its vibe. For this month I do feel like a lot of signs are very relationship based, so I do think May is all about the heart, which makes sense because the ruler of Taurus is Venus. So all those lovey vibes just come up, or whether they're positive or not depends obviously on our relationships. And let's see what's in store for you. Okay, so the first card, Cancer, is realization. I do think you are going through kind of a reflective time where you are thinking on where you are at within your relationship is what I kind of want to say. I feel like though you are kind of realizing the gratitude that you have in your life, like all the things you have to be grateful for and where you are lucky. I kind of get in that kind of vibe from this. I'll show you the imagery that I'm looking at, and I feel like this is you in your contemplation and you're looking out, and I feel like this is like all the things you have to be grateful for. I feel like it's giving me some really good vibes. Now this is a keyhole, and I do, when I've read this for another sign, I kind of got this was like the key to happiness, but I feel like this is literally like the key to your heart is kind of things to be grateful of that's in your life. And I feel like this is where you are at in this moment of reflection. It's kind of you know, looking at all the positive things and where you're at and where you are going. I feel like you're in this kind of really good space of gratification. So I'm loving that. I do feel like it comes with lots of layers. So I see this look as kind of like a book where there are layers and pages and chapters. And this is what's giving me reflection, because I feel like to me, they're your pages. This is what you've written so far. And that you are kind of in this space where, you know, you are looking out on all of the gratitudes that come with that on your book that you've written over your lifetime. So I'm loving that space for you. First card is literally Angel of Love. She is reversed for you. So this is what I'm seeing for you, coming straight from that realization card. So I do, again, she is giving me kind of looking towards her heart, and feeling of gratitude is just kind of really resonating off her, and I am feeling that. She is kind of looking down on that. I need to sneeze. No, I'm not sneezing. Great, now it's inside. I'm going to sneeze really bad later. Does anyone else have that when you don't sneeze? And it's like, oh no, that means later on it's going to be like this massive sneeze. Anyway, guys, so I'm getting this sense of feeling very grateful and nurturing something that is in existence is what I feel like with this. So I do feel like in areas of love in your life, I mean, this can be a relationship. I am, like I said, for May, I'm getting major relationship vibes from everybody, but for you, I just feel like this is the Angel of Love, and we can get love from anywhere. We can have self-love, we have love from our loved ones, like our kids, our mums, dads, parents, grandparents, all these things are places of love for us. And I just feel like this great kind of love, unconditional love, kind of resonating from this card, really. And again, it's giving me gratitude. So I feel like this is at the beginning of May. I'm reading this like beginning, middle, end. So the beginning of May, coming into this month, I feel like you just have so much kind of love surrounding you, and this feeling of gratitude coming off of you. So I feel like that's a really great card to be. I feel like if we are feeling gratitude of the love, it means we are feeling loved, we are seeing the love that we have, and I feel like that's a really, 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 really great energy to be in, because during this time with all of the transitions this year, I kind of feel like a lot of us have got stuck in that kind of zone where we're like, am I loved? And where's the love? I'm not feeling loved. So for you to be in this energy, I am loving that, Cancer. Next card is kind of semi-contradictory of this, because I do get, it is anxiety, and I do get this sense of being anxious over something, but I I don't know, it's giving me career or work, perhaps financially. There is some kind of anxiety or something. I'm actually getting family as well, so maybe if there's somebody who's trying for a baby or wanting to, it's giving you anxiety. And I want to kind of say, so if someone possibly who's watching this, it could very much be that you are pregnant, feeling grateful for being in the zone. However, there's anxiety around this, because that just popped into my head. So that seems to be a situation here. And I feel like you have this fear of loss along that card. And I feel like maybe the fact that you are feeling grateful, I feel like you as well, for those of you that this is not about a baby or relationship, I mean, you could apply this to both, but I get this sense of a fear of loss of this, or like that even though you are feeling grateful of all the love you have and you're feeling the love, I do feel like you have this sense of it might not last. Actually, this is kind of triggering things that maybe this also follows on from the last month for you, Cancer. I cannot remember anything about what I said to you guys. It's just kind of triggering a little bit in my memory, in my kind of way that I'm triggered with things I need to express. And I feel like this is something that you kind of hold with you, is this, and I want to kind of say, like, sometimes I feel like you don't allow yourself to actually fully feel things to the extent, because you kind of have this sense of kind of sadness attached to that, and this kind of leaves you with this kind of niggling anxiety around things being good. I feel like you can't fully appreciate it to the full extent. And now I do feel like you are appreciative during this time, so it is a very contradictory feeling, but I just feel niggle. And I keep saying niggle because it does feel niggly. And yeah, it's on the outside. You're just worried that, you know, and I'll show you the imagery that's triggering this kind of thing for me. There is a lightning outside of the window, and I feel like this is what it is. You're fearful of what's not in your current vicinity. It's not here in your current vicinity, but it's on the outside of a potential to me. It's in the clouds, so it's made up. It's not reality. It's something you're fearing that doesn't exist. And I want you to be mindful of that and think of that, you know. We cannot be fearful of the what ifs, buts, and maybes, because they don't exist, and they only exist if you actually create them. If you actually give them life by making, you know, by imagining, by thinking and focusing, you're making it be a reality when in fact it's not. So be mindful of that. Be careful of what you think, because we do manifest the realities that we're in to a large degree. So I want you to be really conscious of, if you do have fears and anxieties of that, you know, you are manifesting something within that thought process. But again, don't let fear be the thing that controls you. Sometimes when we're like, oh no, I'm manifesting this, we can get in this kind of really toxic cycle of trying to create toxic positivity to kind of counteract the toxic negativity, and we're not in balance. And we have the Angel of Balance as the next card, and I want you to be mindful that, you know, we can get in this off balance cycle here when we're thinking, oh no, I'm all fear-based right now, I need to counteract that. It's okay to have fears and shadows. It's more about not allowing them to grow into something more substantial. So be mindful of that. So this Angel of Balance is definitely giving me those vibes. I feel like that flowed quite greatly there. She is nurturing and growing something, so I am definitely getting this growing something, really nurturing, loving and positive. So this could again be in relationship to a family, into a love, anything that you're really growing actually. This is sort of saying, I feel like this is you coming into that balance, and I do feel like this in the beginning of May, with this realization, I feel like this really is just a time of you going within and kind of, you know, acknowledging the gratitude. So just observing that kind of fear that you have, but creating a healthy balance with this. I'm just getting this kind of contemplating look on her, and I feel like she is really, you know, her focus is on what she's growing. It is on, and this in a way as well represents our emotional self, and she's kind of just content with this. So I feel like it's a content time, and I feel like it's a great time for starting, building, taking things next level is what I want to say, because I'm just getting that kind of vibe from this column. But I feel like, again, with the beginning cards, with each of these, how I've been seeing it kind of in my mind's eye is very much like the first card from the Moon Oracle cards is kind of giving me the insight to what this is giving. So the realization, this whole column feels like the beginning of May, you're really in this zone of you coming into this thought process of you realizing, acknowledging, and just prepping is what I want to say. It really is realization. So we come on to the mid-May. So we have Mercury in retrograde from the 10th of May, as I said. We have change. It is reverse. I'll show you the imagery before I read it. This is upright just in case. I don't think this camera focuses. The light, I have trouble with lighting in here, I swear. But there is a girl, a girl and an egg, which could be planetary. But anyway, we're in reverse. Let me have a read for it. So again, I definitely get fertility. I swear, Cancer, I have fertility. Somebody who watches me is having a freaking baby. Or at least trying. But I swear, that's what I keep getting for you, Cancer, is fertility. Now remember, fertility is not necessarily a human. I do feel like somebody is definitely wanting to start a family, and I get this family kind of vibe through this. It could be, extending a family, or creating a new family with somebody else. And I don't mean new as in we get rid of the old and we have a new one. I mean as in if you already have a child, it's like having a new child with somebody, because I just get this growth and further moving on from something. I remember vaguely in the last month for you, Cancer, was letting go of the old in order to embrace this future, and that's what I feel like you're doing. So with this change, again, that redness and the egg here is giving me fertility vibes. So fertility means growth. It means we're nurturing and growing something. It doesn't necessarily mean babies. It can be, any area of our life where we are extending and growing, and moving on into something new. Now this change card is giving me kind of like moving on from more rougher times, and kind of feel like you're pushing through to grow this thing. I feel like you are being a force here to create this change, and I feel like you are the driver here, making this happen. I have got red, and I feel like there's passion. When I see red, I see fire, I see passion, and that is kind of what I'm getting here. Is like a love, like a loving passion, a drive, which is coming from the most kind of the best place that we can have something, because it's something that's driving you with a purpose. It's kind of like we have all these are they seagulls? Yeah, she has all these seagulls around her. Now, I'm seeing it like this, so I'm just going to view it like this. If I look at it upright, it's going to give me something that's not for you. I'm getting, this is just all positive for me. It kind of feels like real change. We have all these water and stuff, and I just feel like this is just really you pushing for what you want and what you desire. And I feel like, yes, it might it's brewing up so much emotion for you. And it's good and bad. But I feel like this is you balancing that out, as in pushing and positiveness for you. I can't get the words out because it's like I'm just really feeling this positive push. So even when I try and kind of, I like to say, like, I try and go off another way to explore in my mind to see, like, is this correct? That's sometimes how my mind works. It's kind of searches. And I'm just really drawn back to this kind of really positive vibe of it being you, being that good change that you need, being that change. That you have been kind of, I feel like, wanting for such a long time. Now, the first card that comes from this column is patience. And I feel like this is something that you have grown to have. I feel like this has been a long time coming for you. So you are patient and you are willing to wait for it. You are willing to kind of put in the time is what I want to say with this. It is a card which says to, take it slow, take your time, go into this. But I feel like, again, I'm reading this as you being willing to be patient and take the time. And I feel like this is a massive strength for you during this time. We have the Angel of Strength next. This could very much be like the Strength card. And it's knowing that we are our own strength is what I feel like. I feel like you have a great passion. Like, there's so much fire passion coming through in this column, and I feel like you are literally the drive right now. You have this drive within you that's going to kind of, I feel like you are going to acknowledge you are acknowledging your kind of weaknesses, I want to say, but they're not weaknesses. I'll change that to vulnerabilities. I feel like you are acknowledging your vulnerabilities and kind of realizing that they have shaped you the way you are. But it's guiding you. I feel like that's what's guiding you, is you. You are your guiding force. I want to name that this. You are your guiding force for me. I probably won't. I'll probably forget. But you are your guiding force. yeah, strength is literally what I'm getting here. From her facial images, I'm just drawn to this look. Now, I want to hopefully be able to focus. I hide my face, it might focus. No, you're not going to see the way I see it. But she is kind of like so poised in a way that's like, I'm going to get what I want. And I'm loving that. Hold on to that. Now, this is coming into Mercury retrograde, so this is like a really good attitude to be in. If you being your driving force, I'm willing to be patient. It is a time for action. We have action being the next card. I am getting this kind of you acting, and I feel like it's getting things rolling. I feel like, again, you are ready for this. You are patient and know that you are, but just take action, move forward with your goals. I do want to say that there may be communications coming forward that you need to have, but I really feel like you are the driving force in this and that you're actually going to create those communications. You're going to make happen what is. I actually feel like you may have had action in reverse in your last reading. Because as I'm reading this, it's triggering that in me, that you've been told to kind of take it slow, and now you're being told to, you know, yes, be patient, but move forward. I feel like you need to push someone along, actually. I feel like, again, because you're the driver here, I feel like you need to make somebody else stop standing still and stop waiting. It's now time for you to nudge that person into action. And I feel like they need to speed things up. So you are this patient, like, loving being is what I'm sensing. But there's somebody else who needs to get moving with this. So keep that in mind in aspects of your life. Coming on to the final column, we have purity. Interesting. Again, purity gives me innocence. I definitely get this sense of a baby being in here. And as this is how I'm seeing it. You can really see that as a blanket and a baby's face. So I am definitely getting baby vibes from this. So that's amazing. Snowy moon, winter baby. Could be that this is... Now, I feel like you are actually... I feel like you have conceived, at least somebody who's watching this, and winter, a moon, snowy, cold, some kind of vibe here. Could be a way of, if you're thinking of baby names, that kind of snowy, winter, cold kind of naming seems like a way to go. So if you needed a lead, there you go, because that's what I'm getting through. Okay, what else am I getting from this? I am getting this innocence, and I feel like you are, like, in your own in this vulnerability, in the sense of, I feel like you are owning your vulnerability. I feel like you are able to communicate this vulnerability quite well, actually, and realizing that I feel like we need to know, during winter months, like we're coming into winter, it's getting colder here in Australia, depending on where you're from in Australia, obviously. Some do not get winter, but I do here where I am in Queensland. And so it's getting colder, and I feel like when it gets colder, we go into hibernation mode, and we do get into this kind of moon cycle kind of phase. I feel like I'm a very cyclic being, so as the months get colder, I get more hibernating, and I just want to snuggle up and that kind of thing. And it's giving me this vibes of understanding where you are emotionally, and understanding that this is your sensitivity, your purity in this world, and to nurture that. But it's giving me nurturing purity, nurturing innocence in that purity card. I'm realizing that you are still growing things, even if things are slower during this time. And that could also be where the patience comes into this too, but I do feel like you are okay with that as well. Okay, the next card is all tied up in reverse, and this is just giving me, like, I feel like past self is that where you have felt tied up and you have felt connected to something in the past. And I do think you had this card. Did I use these cards in the last reading? Maybe in the crossing, I don't think I did, but for some reason I'm seeing these cards, although I've read them to you. I have a bad memory sometimes. I feel like I have Cancer. I've said this to you before last month about having things like being tied up or something, and I feel like this is what you're moving away from. I do feel like it's again a reflection of this. I feel like you are remembering that time when you felt like that and no longer allowing yourself to stay in that space. I do feel like you are a drive this month to making sure that I feel like spiritually you're kind of really focusing on aligning and focusing that things are in alignment with you, so that all areas of your life you are kind of like a proper driving force here. because I get this sense of you acknowledging where you have felt tired before, and just you realizing like, I'm not there anymore, I'm not in that space, I don't want that in my life. And I feel like you're smiling kind of now, looking back at how long it took you to get here, but not worrying about that. The next card is journey, and I feel like this is, this is it. You are on your journey now, and you're willing to move forward. You are moving from that space, and it does feel like, again, where you're going now is like you are ready to start afresh, and you're bringing with you, I'll show you the imagery. And I feel like you are bringing with you all of these blessings. You are bringing things with you moving forward. You're not letting go and dropping things. You're leaving behind what it doesn't serve, and you're bringing with you the good things. I feel like this card in reverse came up for you last time. Did I use these cards? I don't know. Did I? I just kicked you. Sorry about that. But yeah, I feel like I had these two cards for you. So either like it's literally triggering things saying, hey, you said this, and she's got through this, he's got through this. That's good, loving that. So yeah, you're bringing blessings with you, and when you're going, definitely feel like your life has directed you to where you're going now, and it's built up to this moment. So it does feel like this is kind of your fate, and I feel like this is why it feels spiritual to me, because I feel like you are on the right path. Cards sort of would come up, that everywhere and everything that you've learned so far is really leading you towards where you're going, but in the most positive way. So all of them struggles or anything that you've been through in the past, I feel like they're just below you now, because you're able to rise up and see the blessings that we had in the beginning, is seeing those blessings and the gratitudes for all that you have and where you are. Yeah, it feels very positive. We are ending on a storm warning, which is very interesting. I do feel like all of this, you've been a strength for the whole of May, and you are coming into good things and going in the right path. That perhaps you've been riding on such a high for so long. To me, this feels like, and it's kind of like an overwhelming of emotions here. With storm warning, it can be kind of be wary that sometimes that when we are feeling ourselves and we're feeling strong, that we can then come down in a crash. This is all about the balance. If we do not have the balance and we kind of tip more on the higher scale because we shove things under, that's where I had this warning here. And this kind of feels like what it is, because I'm getting overwhelming stuff from this storm warning. It can be, and I feel as well, these are next to each other, and I got this sense of another person. Now they are white, and it's giving me like perhaps they are the storm. They could be resistant in this. I put them back in the wrong spaces as well. Interesting. Because I'm kind of getting a sense that maybe another person is more the storm, and it's like you may get an overwhelming of emotion due to this, and it could be because you are moving in such a way, this other person is kind of resistant or kind of opposing your vibe as well, which I find when that happens, it really does kind of give you this sense like you know when you are feeling so good, like it's your birthday, you're having such a good day, and then someone throws some bad news at you, and you just kind of then cry on your birthday because you're like, why would you do that on my birthday? You ruined my day. It's kind of like that kind of vibe. I know it sounds really lame, but what I'm saying is like it's like someone raining on your party and not kind of matching your vibe where you may want them to be. And I do feel like this is where you do need to continue to practice patience here, because I just keep coming back to this area of it being intertwined here. Mid-month, so something that happens in this mid-month where you are the strong one, you're trying to push someone into action, and kind of get them on your level, kind of speed them up is what I kind of feel like. I do feel like you are the strength here, the stronger one of the two, but yes, they can affect your mood towards the end of the month. It is Mercury in retrograde, so communications can sometimes be really I want to say aggressive, but not necessarily. They come out how they need to be. But I do think sometimes the communication, we can read into it as though it's ours. Sometimes they need it more than we do. And this is how I'm feeling with this. Somebody else along this line is going through something. They're on your journey with you. But they are just at a different level to you. And I kind of feel like that's an understanding that you need to get maybe. but be aware that perhaps they're not meant to be on your journey as well, is what I want to say, which is quite interesting. Not necessarily for all of you, but I was just, as I was saying that quote to this one, so something needs to break away. It can be that something needs to break away from them actually as well. As I say that, I'm kind of felt like that could be a thing, that something is breaking away from them. It could be an ideal. It could be, if this is, for example, I feel like I need to say this, if this was like you are starting a new relationship, or you're in a relationship with someone new where you have a child from a previous relationship and now there is a baby here, again, apply this to where you need not baby, but I just want to do that vibe. You know, this is a vulnerable time for them, and you're already a parent but they're not. This is how it feels, is it could be potentially that they need to let go of that single, that kind of lifestyle where they are used to, because that's what happens when we become parents. You know, our old ways kind of release from us, and I feel like that's what they're going through, and it could be tough for them, because it's tough for all of us when we're going through that, and that really does feel like where it is like you are the patient, strong one here, and you're kind of pushing someone else along the way, but then they may get into a sense of, you know, it being overbearing, because they are not in a place of understanding where you are yet, because they are not yet that parent. That is the vibe. Apply that to your own situations. Obviously, some of you may not be becoming parents, and it may not be your situation. Sometimes I do say these analogies where they can be applied to all situations. It's just to explain the energy that I'm channeling. But yeah, that's it for you, Cancer. Please keep an eye out for the Mercury retrograde reading. I do feel like really Mercury retrograde's kind of smooth sailing for most of you Cancerians, because I just feel like you're in a space for May where you're just like, I know where I'm going and I'm grateful for where I am and what I go through. I feel like you are cycling with the moon, so that's really good. With the planets even, being that it's Mercury in retrograde. But yeah, loving it. Thank you so much, Cancer. I will see you next month.